Hey class, how's it going? This is going to be my lesson for the cross-country flight planning. I'm going to talk about a couple different things. Obviously, this should be like a couple-hour lesson, but I got to manage to squeeze it into 5 minutes. So I'm going to talk about a couple different things. We've got heading versus track. So your heading is your direction that you're pointed, and your track is which way you're going to end up, is the best way I can describe it. Another thing we'll talk about is wind correction angle. That has a lot to do with, if you're heading 360, but your track's actually 355 because you've got a little bit of a, southwesterly wind. Here's some pictures that are out of the POH, or not POH, PHAC. So as you can see here, this airplane is wanting to go this way, but we're going to end up being pushed down because the wind is coming from the north here. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to crab into the wind and change our heading, which will change our track to where we want to be. That's the best way I can describe it. If you stay this way, you're going to end up just kind of coming like this and taking a long time to get to where you need to be. This is another pretty good picture that the PHAC has in it. It's talking about boats in a river with a current. As you can see with the way the current is, it pulls it that way. But if you were to crab into it, you would stay how you want to be. And then here is obviously the airplane pictures. That's a big thing, to introduce to private students when we first start teaching them, because that's something that they're going to learn pretty quick as soon as they get in an airplane, especially if you're flying in Texas where it's always windy. Next, I'm going to talk about, where are we? So most of the time when I first started, I used a paper chart, but it's really hard to prop my phone up to teach you a paper chart. So I'm going to show you how to do it on ForeFlight. It's relatively simple. Your main screen's here. You're going to go to flight plan. And let's say we're going KDTO to KOKC, which is Denton to Oklahoma City. You type that in and it's going to give you a straight line. It won't look anything like that, but it would basically just be a straight line between this point and this point. So then we're going to have to pick some waypoints. What I like to do when I'm picking waypoints is I pick airports. It's smart because say you're at 5,000 feet right here and you have an emergency, you got an airport here, you got an airport here, you got an airport here. It's kind of smart. So I think that's what I'm going to teach my private students. Now, if there's not an airport, you can use tall towers, big lakes, small cities. There's little flags for VFR waypoints. So you're going to put all of that in, get your points, every 15, 20, 25 nautical miles. Why is this freezing on me? There we go. And then you're going to want to set up a performance profile. So say I'm using 333 Alpha Foxtrot. That's the plane I got my private pilot in. It is a 172 Skyhawk. If you don't put the proper numbers in a performance profile, it's going to mess you up and you're not going to get correct information. Garbage in, garbage out. So your performance profile will be derived from your POH, so the POH for your specific aircraft. You'll have to get in and do your time, fuel, climb, all of that stuff, and do gallons per hour. And then we're going to get on our, and pick our altitude. Obviously flying VFR, we're going to do, west is best, as kind of how I always think of it. So the Eastern government is kind of odd. It might upset some folks, but I'm going to use it anyway. So we're going to pick an altitude. From DTO to OKC, we have a slight easterly heading, so we're going to use an odd +5. So 3,500. We could go 5,500 and pick that. And then we obviously want to look and make sure, look at what we're flying through. You don't want to go flying through prohibited areas because that's when you get to meet the fast planes. And then you can pull it up here. Make sure all your stuff is good. Look at your runways. Look at your runway links. And then this is your nav log. So it will show you literally everything. All of your points, your top of climb, your top of descent, down into wherever you're going. You've got your winds aloft chart for all your different altitudes, all your different points. You've got your headings, your course, your altitude, wind direction, airspeed, distance remaining, fuel remaining. And that's all really essential stuff that you'll need. I feel like I'm I'm getting there on time. So that's what I'm gonna present. I could obviously go deeper into that, but that's all we got time for. Thank you.